Yes, signed, and I have number 25, which is quite a low number. Is this gay? It sounds gay. I bloody well hope it's gay. How does this, oh my god, there's so many books. Why am I like this? A lot of these books I haven't really heard anything about, so I don't actually really want to know anyone's opinion. Hello my angels. This video is going to be entitled, I think I have a problem. Because today we're doing a haul. Now I don't usually film hauls because I tend to get things in dribs and drabs. I don't really do big purchases. I tend to just pre-order books and then I get them, like I said, in dribs and drabs now and again. And I don't tend to remember or write down like what month I've received a book in or like pre-ordered a book in and picked up. I don't have a lot of content usually for hauls because I'm too lazy to track that kind of thing. However, today for your viewing pleasure, there was an Orbit sale. There was a 50% off sale on May the 4th, which is May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day, all that jazz. Let me ask you this, BookTube. When in your life have you ever had a 50% off sale on brand new books? I don't think I have ever seen one of those. I've seen 50% off hardbacks during the Waterstones Boxing Day sale, which I did end up partaking in. Today, I have no less than 25 books for you. I think it might be 25. I ordered 27, but I think 2 of them might be pre-orders. It might be 3. So around 25 books for you to view me unboxing. Before that though, I do have a couple of other unboxings to do. And they are just books. They aren't, you know, a full box of goodies such as Loom Crate or Fairy Loot. And I do also want to show you my adult Fairy Loot for April. So it was City of Dusk. It's just a black sprayed edge. I did like the inverted cover, but I wish they'd done more. Design on the outside's pretty cool. And I am actually quite excited for this book. I was going to pre-order it. And it is signed properly. So that was the first thing. I didn't really want to go too much into this. I don't really have much to say about it. There's 4 realms, life, death, light and darkness. They all converge on the City of Dusk, ruled by 4 noble houses. And the gods have withdrawn their favour from the once vibrant and thriving city. So I just really like gods, I really like houses. I really like shit like that, basically. So I can't remember if I showed this in another haul, but I am part of the Broken Binding subscription now as well. And this is the first one that we got. Blurry. Oh well. This is the first one that we got, which was The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie, and I've been wanting to get into Joe Abercrombie for a while, considering how much I love Realm of the Elderlings, and I really want to get into grimdark. I do like Game of Thrones, so I do love epic fantasy. So I really want to get into it, basically. I've heard really good things from Brightness Katie Reed. Not particularly about this trilogy, but about a couple of sequel trilogies, such as the Age of Madness trilogy. But I'd rather read them through in order. So today, I'm showing you that because I have the sequel, which was the April book, I think. I've got my Riptide to open things with. Side note, we got the cast for Annabeth and Grover, which I am super hyped about. I like to keep these smaller boxes because if someone wants to buy like a single book off me, it's really easy to get one book into the box. The Broken Binding always has such nice packaging, and they've got the little sticker there as well saying First Law, which means that this one, I do have another Broken Binding one here, which means this one must be the sequel. So let's dive right in. I have seen that the edges for this are pink, which I was not actually expecting because the edges of this one are more of just a parchment colour. And I thought they would all be the same colour, but they would make an image when you put them together on the shelf. And I thought they would be all parchment colour. So I'm not quite sure how I feel about the pink. Yes, here we are. This is the front cover. We do have some foiling. It's quite subtle, but it is kind of in the background there. You can kind of see it when I do that. If you look down here where my middle finger is when I do that, you can kind of see it. I think this might be a bit overexposed. Here we have the pink edges, and you can see them together now. You can see there now they're starting to form the image of a star. And they are connecting, I think, around the edges as well. So yeah, not actually quite sure about, you know, the pink and blue with the red and kind of orangey parchment colour. If we have a look underneath, I think it's the same as the other one, just in blue. The other one was gold and these foilings are blue. We do have end papers, but they are a bit just parchmenty. Book 2, Before They Are Hanged, yes, signed, and I have number 25, which is quite a low number. Out of, is it 1,000? 1,500 copies. I have quite a low number of 25. So that's great. Maybe all of my subscription will be number 25, which are very low numbers, which some people find value in. I'm just happy to have the pretty books. So this other one, I think might be Daughter of Redwinter, which is a book that I pre-ordered from them because they did a sprayed edge, and I do have an arc of it actually. Oh, this is thick. I hadn't got the impression that Daughter of Redwinter was thick, but it could also be Valor, because I did order Valor, which is the sequel to Malice. I feel like this is the size of Valor. There isn't a sticker. Oh, there is a sticker. And I am correct, because you can see on the front there, it says Truth and Courage, and this is the thick ass bitch like me. So I love unboxing these. It feels like Christmas with the whole ribbon and then the paper and everything. I really do like the packaging that they do. And honestly, Broken Binding, if you're into epic fantasy and sci-fi, I would recommend. They're a very small indie startup. Oh, those edges are gorgeous. Lovely green edges for Valor, which is the sequel to Malice. These are fucking huge. I could brick someone around the face with this. So here we are, Malice and Valor. These are just technically really just reprints of the original hardcovers. We have the orange and we have the green. I swear Valor does not have like a green cover and stuff though, but maybe I'm wrong. These look great together. I'm really excited to read them. They do also both come with like a little ribbon bookmark, which I'm happy about. What number do I have for these? I think this one's quite high. 245 of 500, and I'm hoping they haven't given me the same number. Oh, that sucks. Did I tell them the right number? Because it's very close. I'll have to check. Maybe I put the wrong one down, because 225 and 245 are very similar numbers, so maybe I wrote the wrong one down, but maybe they made a mistake. So I will have to have a look at my order notes and see what I put in, basically. I'll be annoyed if it's myself. If it's myself, obviously I won't say anything to them because that's my own fault, but hopefully if it's their fault they can rectify it. Honestly, it's not the end of the world. Like, I'm not like super bothered about matching numbers, but I know that if I ever wanted to sell them in the future, that does increase the resale value if you do have matching numbers. You know, say for example, I don't like the books. I've not read them. I mean, I'm pretty sure I will, but who knows? And now we have a Goldsboro package, which I think is going to be the April book for the GSFF. Okay, Jesus. So this is Wild and Wicked Things, and it has a gilded, sparkly edge, which is not super obvious on camera, but it is very obvious in person. Signed, number 365 of 2000. Lovely, gorgeous edges. Crazy how, like, when you open it and flick through, you can't even see the edges whilst you're reading it, which is amazing. So this is actually right up my street. I had this pre-ordered from Waterstones anyway. So it's in the 1920s. On Crow Island, people whisper that real magic lurks just below the surface. Magic does not interest Annie Mason, main character. It stole her future. She's on the island only to settle her late father's estate and hopefully reconnect with her best friend, who fled their dreary lives for a more glamorous one. But Crow Island is brimming with temptation, and most mesmerizing may be her enigmatic new neighbor. Serious and alluring, Emmeline Delacroix is a figure shadowed by rumors of witchcraft, and then Annie witnesses a confrontation between Bee, her old best friend, and Emmeline. She's drawn into a glittering haunted world, a world where the boundaries of wickedness are tested and the cost of illicit magic might be death. Is this gay? It sounds gay. I bloody well hope it's gay. Nothing on the underside, but the edge of the spine looks nice. I'm actually quite excited for this one, if I ever do actually get round to my fucking GSFF fix. Do not at me. And it looks gorgeous next to my other, you know, say for example, compared to that. It's not obvious on camera, like I said, but they look so beautiful and shiny and glittery in real life. So, like I said earlier, there was a sale. These actually got delivered to the wrong building and I had to walk through Birmingham. Not through Birmingham, it was around the corner. Holding these stupid fucking parcels. How does this? Oh my god, there's so many books. Why am I like this? They were 50% off. How do you say no to a £4.50 hardback or a £5 hardback? When are you ever going to get those prices? Ever? The answer is never. Okay. I feel like I need to put this like on the side and then like push, then like put them over to this side. Okay. Oh, I have no room on my desk to do this. Ugh. Let's get stuck in. So this is my sheet of shit. Oh, okay, they're wrapped in plastic, but not really. They're just wrapped like around in plastic to keep them together. Like, okay. Right. Dust all over them. Okay. Now, can I also just preface that Orbit paperbacks, I can't even speak. Orbit paperbacks are also very floppy. So it's not even like I've spent this much on books and they're paperbacks and I'm only buying them because they're cheap and I don't even like paperbacks because they're too stiff. Orbit paperbacks are floppy. Look. I love this. This is what I want. I've brought basically full trilogies. So a lot of this will actually be condensed down into me talking about trilogies. So this one is the first in this series, so the Tethered Mage. Then we have, oh my god. Then we have the Defiant Heir, and the third one is in here. Oh, here it is. And then we have the Unbound Empire. This on the front is by Melissa Caruso. These are the three together like that, like that, like that. The Tethered Mage, I've heard so many things about this across the years. I've never gotten around to reading it. I've never heard like really bad or really good things. I think a lot of these books I haven't really heard anything about. So I don't actually really want to know anyone's opinion. Like feel free to in the comments obviously, but please only tell me if you liked it because otherwise I won't read them. In this empire, in the Rowanevejones Empire, the magic is scarce. Those born with power are strictly controlled, taken as children to serve in the Falcon Army. Zyra has grown up on the streets to avoid this fate, hiding her mage mark and thieving to survive. But hers is a rare and dangerous magic, one that threatens the entire empire. I think there's two different characters, two female characters. So Lady Amalia Cornaro was never meant to be a falconer. Heiress and scholar, she was born into a treacherous world of political machinations, but fate has bound the heir and the mage, and as war looms on the horizon, a single spark could turn the city into a pyre. Is it gay? I think I ordered quite a few things from the gay section on Orbit. All of the ones I don't have meaning. That's what that means. I feel like this might be one of the gay ones. I hope so. It is a fairly typical setting, premise, you know, magic is illegal, but I am really hoping that this will like do it for me basically. So that's these three, the Tethered Mage, and it's called Swords and Fire, like that's the name of the series. I have absolutely zero room for these on my shelves, by the way. I am just going to pile them in a corner. Now, next, we have An Echo of Things to Come, floppy, and The Light of All That Falls. Not so floppy, but that's because it's fucking huge. This is book 2 and 3 in the Lycaenous Trilogy, which I have only heard good things about. Because I already have the first one. I think Katie from Brightest Katie Reads might have got it for me. These is book 2 and 3, and I've only heard good things, particularly from Emma, one of my patrons, and Katie. I have a feeling, obviously, I'm not going to get to it anytime really soon, but because I already had the first one, I thought I do actually really want to get to have the second two on hand, I guess. The first one is called The Shadow of What Was Lost, and this one isn't really floppy either, but it also is very thick. It seems like the second one is the only one that's really actually floppy. But you know, 1 out of 3 isn't too bad. Considering the fucking size of them, it would be difficult to do. So, the Lycaenous Trilogy, this does not actually have a synopsis on it. It just says, as destiny calls, the journey begins. Also, I fully lied to you. It's not from Katie, it's from Cassidy. This was for my birthday. Honestly, I don't know what this is about because there's no fucking synopsis. There's no synopsis on the second one either. Well, on the back of the third one, it says, the shadow of what was lost began an epic tale of 3 heroes who embraced forbidden powers to confront a rising evil. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess that, considering it's epic fantasy, but, you know. Well, I guess I will be surprised by it then. What my friend Jamil from uni, he's the one who told me about it in general. I think he read it, and then he was like, he really enjoyed it. I think he said something about a school at the beginning, but then it disappears quite quickly, but I could be fully lying to you. There could be just no school setting and I'm lying. I mean, I hope there is one, but I don't want to go in with expectations and then be disappointed now. So I'm really sorry. I don't know what they're about. And I'm actually worried. I don't really want to look up what they're about. We might come back at the end to these. A stack is forming. Okay, next up we have A Radical Act of Free Magic. This is the sequel to something about magicians. Declaration of the Rights of Magicians, that's the one. This is a sequel. I think it's going to be a trilogy. Yeah, The Shadow Stories 2. I don't think the third one's out yet, but the first one, it's about magicians. I don't think it's modern day. I think it might be like early 1900s or something. Oh, no, it's during when Napoleon was around. I don't know what age that was, but Napoleonic times. I do have the first one down there somewhere, but political drama and magic battle action, historical fantasy. I love historical fantasy. I actually really want to get to these soon. I think this is one of the ones I'm most intrigued by. But yeah, I wanted the sequel on hand for when I finish the first one. Next up we have Paper and Blood, which is a nice short one. The first one was called Ink and Sigil, and someone bought it for me for my birthday, one of my patrons. So yes, I think this is about a Scottish druid who solves kind of mysteries and like things. He's an uncanny, eccentric master of magic. Things like that. I think it seems really sweet and really cute and like very whimsical possibly and very funny. So I'm looking forward to reading these ones as well because they're quite short. I feel like they would be quite an easy read. So there's that. That's the sequel to the first one, was called Ink and Sigil. We have gay sci-fi next. So this was, I remember this specifically being in the sci-fi section, and I only bought the first one because I'm not a huge epic sci-fi person. I don't think I've ever really dove or dived into it properly, so I didn't really want to buy the whole series of a series I've not really heard anything at all about. But this is called Velocity Weapon and it's by Megan E. O'Keefe. Protectorate #1. So it says a major new voice in science fiction, an epic intergalactic politics, war and a rogue AI. So main character Sandra, last thing she remembers is her gunship exploding. She expected to be recovered by salvage medics, but instead she wakes up 230 years later on a deserted enemy starship called the Light of Berossus, or as he prefers to call himself, Barrow. Barrow tells Sandra the war is lost. Oh, sorry, not Sandra, Sander, lol. Sander, the war is lost, that the entire star system is dead. But is that the full story? After all, in the vastness of space, anything is possible. So that reminds me a bit of like Red Dwarf, where Lister doesn't quite believe like Earth is gone and he still tries to go back there. Like how do you know that's true, that it's gone if you're in the middle of space? Plus rogue AI, perhaps an AI that's not telling her the whole story. Sounds pretty fucking good to me. And I want to get more into some epic sci-fi, so seems like the perfect time, especially if it's gay. No hint of gay in the synopsis, but they could be a trans main character for all I know, so somehow gay. Next, we've got the 100,000 Kingdoms. N.K. Jemisin, I am wanting to give more time to, more chances to. I read the 5th season and I wasn't a huge fan. I think I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I feel like if I read it now, I would love it more. But I feel like at the time, I just didn't really get what was happening, and although I enjoyed being confused, I didn't feel like the payoff was quite worth it. So that was my opinion on the 5th season. So I have heard good things about her other books. So the 100,000 Kingdoms is actually her debut, which I didn't know. The main character is an outcast from the barbarian north, but her mother dies under mysterious circumstances, and she is summoned to the majestic city of Skye. To her surprise, she's then named heiress to the king, but the throne of the 100,000 Kingdoms is not easily won, and Yane is thrust into a vicious power struggle. So there's that. I have another N.K. Jemisin called The Killing Moon. The city burned beneath the dreaming moon, ancient city-state of Gajara, Peace is the only law. There are gatherers who are keepers of the peace, priests of the dream goddess. Their duty is to harvest the magic of the sleeping mind and use it to heal, soothe, and kill those judged corrupt, which sounds really fucking cool. And then a conspiracy blooms within the great temple. This gatherer must question everything he knows. Someone or something is murdering innocent dreamers in his goddess's name, and now he must protect the woman he was sent to kill. So again, sounds really fucking cool. Hoping the writing style will really do it for me this time, and these two. But I thought I would give them a go, you know? N.K. Jemisin is like lauded as one of these amazing pillars of epic fantasy, so I really, really want to give her another go, basically. Next, this one's not so floppy. Kind of the middle in-between ones. So this is The Black Coast by Mike Brooks. I've heard really good things. So war dragons. Fearsome raiders, a demonic warlord on the rise. So when they spot raiders on the horizon, the Knights of Black keep saddle their war dragons, preparing to defend the people. But now the raiders, they've not come to pillage, they've been driven from their own land by a demonic despot prophesizing the end of the world. I know these synopses don't sound super interesting. I feel like epic fantasy synopses are really lacking. I feel like YA fantasy synopses give away too much, and epic fantasy or adult fantasy synopses don't give you enough. I mean, I'm gonna give it a go. And apparently he lives in Nottingham, which is fairly close to me. Next up we have another trilogy. So we have Legacy of Ash. Floppy. Last book is Legacy of Light. Second book is Legacy of Steel. Now again, this is another really huge thing. Oh my god, look at them. This is just ridiculous. Look how thick they are. They're the size of my face. Another series that I've heard really good things about from people who have similar tastes to me. I feel like perhaps Aaron from Booked and Busy has talked about these. I feel like I know definitely a few booktubers, I think it's American booktubers that I've watched that have liked these. But Legacy of Ash. Fate turns, legacies burn, a phoenix shall blaze from the darkness. So a shadow has fallen over the Tressing Republic. Ruling families, I love having family dynamics, once protectors of justice and democracy, now plot against one another with sharp words and sharpened knives. They're blinded by ambition, there's invading armies, blah, 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 blah. And it is floppy. So that's another trilogy, another epic fantasy trilogy. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I actually don't know much more than what the synopses are giving me. I feel like there probably is some tropes and some things that would like hook me in more, so I'll have to watch like people's reviews or ask, like, probably Cassidy has read quite a few of these because she's quite a big epic fantasy person. I'm gonna have to try them out. I'm gonna have to try a lot of these out. Next up, I bought The Quicksilver Court, which is book 2 in Rooks and Ruin by... Oh, okay, so this is the same author as the first trilogy I showed you, The Tethered Mage. I did not know that. This is book 2. The first book, The Obsidian Tower, wasn't in stock, but I've been wanting to read that for a while. I feel like I keep seeing it crop up on like recommendeds and things to me, so I don't really want to read the synopsis for this one because I don't want to ruin the first one. There we are. I bought it anyway. Let's just move on. So next we have The Future of Another Timeline. Oh, the back has been bent a bit. So do you remember when we had the vote is like a quote from this. So it's a breathtakingly original novel, lengths we go to make history. So in a world that's just a step away from our own, time travel is possible, but war is brewing. A secret group is trying to destroy women's rights. If they succeed, only a small elite will have the power to shape the past, present and future. Bit on the nose for what's happening currently in the world, or what's happening in the last 10 to 20 years in the world, to be honest. But it's short. It's only about 330 pages. Oh, they wrote Autonomous as well, which was also in the sale, but I didn't really like the sound of that too much. Or like, I had plenty of books in my basket and I was like, I don't want another one. I quite like the colour of this. I quite like the neon orange. But yeah, this sounds super interesting. Bit dystopian, bit too on the nose for me, but... possibly. And the last one I got in this box is The Liar's Knot, which is the sequel to The Mask of Mirrors, which someone else bought me. I think that might have been Katie, but I always think it's Katie for some reason. And this is the sequel. And I've heard really, really good things about Mask of Mirrors. Again, I actually am not sure what it's about. I feel like this is a really boring haul, I'm really sorry. I mean, at least I'm not, you know, encouraging you to buy them because I don't actually know what any of them are about. So there's that, you know. You can take that and hopefully run with it. So later that day, same day that I bought all of these fabulous books, I went back online and I just saw that some people had bought different books to me and I got FOMO. So we have another box. Not quite as big as the first one, thankfully, but I bought 7 more books and 2 of them I have good reason. bought The Raven Tower, which is apparently gay. I've heard loads of things about this across the years. Again, I think there's a lot about gods in here, the god of the raven, and a lot about how like religion like influences the world and stuff like that, which I really, really like in a book. The Bear and the Nightingale does it really well. So that's that. I also got The Wolf in the Whale, which is another queer one. So this is a story of a wolf that runs into the ocean and becomes a whale. So born with the soul of a hunter and chosen by the spirit of the wolf, Omat is destined to follow her grandfather's footsteps, but gods have stopped listening and Omat's family is starving. Hope is the only thing left. She travels across the icy waste and she meets a Viking warrior and strange new gods. So blending myth and magic from Norse and Inuit folklore, which sounds amazing. I think this is a standalone. I think it has the same font as The Wolf and the Woodsman, unfortunately. Who gives a shit? So that I think will be really good. I love folklore, I love mythology. Hopefully that will be right up my street. The next ones are Jade's Fault. So I got Kings of the Wild and Bloody Rose. This is about a band of mercenaries and they kind of get back together after being not together for a while. The glory days have gone, they've grown apart and grown old, fat, drunk, or a combination of the three. Ex-bandmate turns up at the door with a plea for help with a kind of mission the only very brave or the very stupid would sign up for. And then this is the sequel. Floppy, fantasy, looks like it would be funny. Not sure what else to say other than you guys, I can't control myself. And then next up is a book that I thought was going to be a hardback because it was $12.99 on the website, but then obviously half price it was £6.50 or something like that. So this is a Crown. It's so floppy. This is a Crown for Cold Silver and it's very thin paper. Like when I say thin paper, like this book is 700 pages because of how thin the paper is. That's gonna be fun. This says 20 years ago, the feared general led her mercenary army and 5 villainous captains into battle. There were no more titles to win. She faked to death and gave up her legend to history. And then her village is slaughtered and she seeks bloody vengeance. Is this a gay one as well? I feel like I don't know which ones. Can you hear that? That's how you know it's really thin pages, when it makes that sound. Epic fantasy. Hope it's gay. Now, the very last two that I got are books that I already own. And unfortunately, one is not floppy, which is really actually fucking annoying. But the second one, no, the second one is not either. These are the two I actually really wanted to be floppy and now I'm annoyed. Basically, I own the Bone Shard Daughter and the Bone Shard Emperor already in hardback, special editions from Goldsboro. However, I loved the Bone Shard Daughter so much that I wanted copies to reread and tab, or to read and tab. I have only read the first one still so far because the third one has been pushed back, so I didn't want to read the second one yet. I thought I may as well wait and then reread this, read this, and then read the third one, which is going to be spring next year now. I'm actually really annoyed that they're not floppy, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But I can reread the first, read the second, tab, write in them. I really want to write in them. I'm interested. I am interested. And that's kind of a hobby I'm kind of getting into, which kind of is bad because it means I spend more money on paperbacks. But I don't know. And then I'm like, oh, I guess I don't need to keep them, but then I've written in them and stuff, so I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I would only do this for really special ones, buy an extra copy and reread and tab it. And the Bone Shard Daughter, like, I do really love it. I just really hope I love the second one as well now. So that's it. Thank you for joining me on this extremely long video and haul. This was a lot. This was a lot. I did pre-order something called Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I think that's her surname. I think that's a magical historical fantasy. I also pre-ordered For the Wolf, which is the sequel to For the Throne by Hannah Witten, I think. Sorry, I pre-ordered For the Throne, which is a sequel to For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. When I tell you I have no room, I'm like fully not joking. I don't even have room on my TBR cards. Oh, I mean, they were a good deal. That's the only reason I spent this much. I'll get to them eventually, right? So if you did like this video, please do give it a like below. Leave me a massive stack of books emoji in the comments if you were here but you didn't have anything to say but wanted to let me know that you were here. Make sure you subscribe so you get all the future content from me in your inbox. All of my links are in the description, including my link to my Patreon. And if you don't know what goes on my Patreon, then this is what you're missing out on. I'm just running through. Where's my bun gone?
It's on the floor.
Look at this! I don't think this is helpful.
You have everything at your fingertips right there. Oh, you just throw the fucking tomato and get me off this track. How do you see him?
Speaking of my Patreon, I want to give a huge shout out to everyone at my deity tier. So that is Becca, Meg, Rachel, Lisa, Lydia, Mercy, Sarah, Tori, Liv, Adinda, Celeste, Britt, Marloose, Kay, Hannah, William, Chris, Andy, Lauren, Kate, Kendra, Ashley, Frog, Lynn, Amy, Jenny, Hattie, Katie, Aslag, and Chloe. Thank you guys so much for all your support, and I'll see you in another video. Bye!